one of the people that thought that's definitely a team that should go through a change after their stage 1 performance, and unfortunately they just came up short here.
Yeah, I mean, once you lose like 8 series in a row, something's probably not working out great. You know, not for us to decide, obviously. But the match we have, Fnatic versus Red Reserve, should be an interesting one. Both European teams, both coming out of the GPL. I know Red Reserve had that roster change, but it should be a slugfest, right? I mean, these are teams that have matched up against each other, you know, plenty of times.
Right, yeah. Obviously, two practice partners play each other pretty often. Rated joins Red Reserve. So after he helps Elevate get into Stage 2 in Champs, he decided to leave. He was like, you know what? I'm going to go through the Stage 2 qualifier. Joins back with Joe. And Red, you know, his duo, and so far they've looked really good. Just in the past, they've been playing very well online. They've won the last 2K in Europe, so this is a team that is looking to improve. And, you know, watching their first game, I just remember Rated, he was literally laughing at the other team. So they obviously destroyed. So, you know, it's going to be a very tough matchup for them versus Fnatic.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, incredibly early. We've seen one series, sometimes two out of these teams. It's only Thursday, but Red Reserve looked fantastic. I mean, easily the best team we've seen so far this weekend. Again, only one match, but their wins were 250-93 against ERA, by the way. 6-1 in the Search and Destroy, and then I think it was like 9-1 for the uplink. So, I mean, as you said, Rated is just laughing at the guys, and frankly, they earned that win. I mean, you might as well be laughing at that point. Of course, ERA, currently they're going to be playing against Supreme. They're trying to keep their hopes and dreams alive. That's pretty early in the hard point. I think Supreme is actually up about 120-60. So maybe the struggles for ERA are going to be continuing. Either way, though, this European, not juggernaut matchup, but juggernaut when it comes to relegations at least,
right,
going to be underway on your breakout hard point.
Yeah, and this is a game type where Europe, you know, you've seen them struggle, but they've gotten better. Splice, this is one of their better maps, but you're definitely going to look at those NV4 players. Tommy on your screen, running that camo payload. He's going to have to get those kills to be able to earn that. He's going to go up against Rated. So those are the two players you're going to watch in terms of the NV4. Look how aggressive Tommy is with that NV4. Just straight off the start, usually you see those guys just sort of sitting in the window just picking up kills, but he decides, I'm going to go right down the middle of the map.
You take it into submachine gun range and you dive for it. So not the best start there coming out of Fnatic, but of course, the idea behind the aggression, of course, they're going to be focusing on not only getting hill time, but trying to flip those spawns as well. And of course, Joe, he just wants to hold his position. He's obviously very aware that player is going to be above him in that contest spot. And Weskin's eventually going to be able to hunt him down. Of course, though, very close game early on. It's all about cell block, and you see Sunny B's already on that rotation.
Yeah, this is a great play. You can see, though, Red Reserve, 3 of those players sort of spawning by that near spiral staircase, but Sunny B doing a great job. Not only that, his team is holding down that middle hill, getting all that scrap time. Rated, though, sort of rotates in. Now Sunny B, a huge one-on-one. Now he needs to stay alive, but there's 2 Red Reserve players coming at it, and look at that minimap, all of Fnatic spawning out. You know, Red Reserve going to get that early cell block control.
Yeah, and again, you see that rotation coming in 18, 19 seconds ahead of time. Of course, it doesn't pan out, but the bright side for Fnatic, they were able to control that previous hill for a bit of time, so it gives them a little bit of wiggle room coming over. Of course, now Joe, he's on a 3 streak. Frankly, he's a player that underperformed quite a bit at GPL, at least early on. Seems to be turning it around, picks up the 4th as well, starting out 6-1. And frankly, that's huge for Red Reserve. If your arguable worst Slayer on your team is the one that starts off hot, you're going to be in a fantastic position.
Yeah, I think he had the worst stats in Stage 1 throughout that group stage. But this guy on your screen, Urban, was an absolute beast that weekend. Unfortunately, though, they did get 4th place, but they're holding down cell block right now. And you can see all of Fnatic are rotating through that cave. And I believe number 8, Shawnee, after this kill, let's jump on board with him. He's going to be coming behind in Fnatic. They sort of know a pinch might come in, so this is where you have to take your time. You have to allow your teammates to pick up those kills and allow that pinch to pay off. A huge kill by Shawnee. Needs to slow down now, and you can see all Fnatic, they know that front pressure is coming. Shawnee doing a great job, but somebody got a lucky spawn right behind him. I believe that's Scraps, but it might be just a little too late. Shawnee's flank does come in. Now it's a 1v1 for this hill.
Yeah, nearly got gifted, but you can see Fnatic, despite the fact that they had, again, 10, 15 seconds in advance, the complete setup did not pan out. And that, obviously, might be one of the most detrimental moments of the entire game. That would have been their opportunity to try and get that full 60, get right back in this game. But now it's just going to be Red Reserve just cruising right along. And Urban is going to be a player, I was going to say partly responsible. He is going to fall as Shawnee is feeding his streaks. But something Urban does, and you know what? We could just talk about the streaks instead. Just went on a 7 streak. Again, Joe started out hot. Shawnee has picked up the slack as soon as his teammate slows down for just a moment. And again, once you get streaks, streaks on this map, that is almost nearly GG.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this just started with that pinch on rotation. He was able to get that. He helps his team clean up, and they get a full 60 on this sort of graveyard hill. So a great job by them. But again, we're sort of going to that commissary hill, and this is another one you can hold for a very long time. But Red Reserve, they have the spawns. If you look at your minimap, all of Fnatic have to push that wall run, and that's very dangerous. The Twins picking up kills. Tommy picks up one on his team, but also one on Shawnee. It's now a 1v1 for this hill control.
Well, and that team kill is going to be pretty important as well, because you see he has no teammate help as those spawns are coming in for Red Reserve. He's got to deal with the pressure. He's able to pick up Joe, but you see two more players swoop right in, and it's going to be rated in control. But now, well, the pressure's coming from the other direction, and Wuskin gets two. Very back and forth hill early on. You can see Red Reserve still has those spawns, but Fnatic trying to claw their way back into this game.
Yeah, Fnatic doing a very good job to actually make that wall run spawn sort of work out. Usually it's very difficult to break from that side, but they're getting probably most of this hill time, doing a very good job. But you can already see Red Reserve, they're starting to rotate towards that middle hill. And this is a hill where teams can get a little bit of time, but mainly that focus is on that cell block rotation. So when we go into that, we'll see how those duels plays out. But again, it looks like Red Reserve going to win the basic rotation, but Tommy picks up two.
And Tommy, their game number one in their first series, had the hot hand. That was on retaliation. He dropped something like, 29 kills, most in the lobby by 5 or 6. If he can heat back up for the hard point, that's what Fnatic needs to happen. This is a team that has struggled in the past in hard point, and they're great at everything else. But again, if they can have a player step up and kind of take that load off of each other's hands, that'd be fantastic. Tommy's going to try and be that guy.
Yeah, and again, Red Reserve get a 4 dead, and they're just going to be able to get in control, and they have the spawn they want. So Fnatic, not only do they have to be thinking about this hill time, because if they give this up, they're going to be down by 100 points. They have to think about their rotation. Red Reserve, you could tell they're already thinking about it, trying to control that showers as much as possible.
Yeah, and you can see Joe is very happy to go and challenge, despite the fact that he's the one trying to rack up time. They're trying to keep Fnatic pushed as far back as possible, and so far they've done a very good job. See, teammates right now from Fnatic are trying to make moves, but still on the hill. Joe's been on a tear. He's going to get another kill as well. The first 2 hills, he has absolutely thrived. They just got a bunch of that time, what, like 40 seconds?
Someone spawned behind him. I believe that's Scraps. So this is a huge spawn. Someone just pushed up a little bit too far on Red Reserve. I believe it was Urban. But, now Fnatic, they have the pinch. A little bit of luck on their side now. Now that's all 4 dead for Red Reserve. Super unlucky from them. But, you can see on your minimap, Red Reserve, all of them spawning Spiral. This will allow Fnatic to get back in the game if they're able to pick up these kills.
Yeah, I mean, they just got a gift from the COD guys right there. Now, they're running with it as well. That's going to be 3 down in their favor. Number 5, Rated, is going to be the last one up. He's having the slowest game of the whole team, and Tommy baits out his teammate perfectly as soon as the gunfight challenges. Tries to turn on Shawnee as well, but again, it's the bait and switch. Sunny B was in the hill as well to make sure to finish up that kill. So, again, one spawn could very well change this game. I do want to point out, I think it's Shawnee that's still holding on to these streaks as we go over to Graves. Red Reserve still in a fantastic spot, but Fnatic, there's still hope.
Yeah, and they were able to pick up the scrap time. They have about 10 seconds, plus they're winning rotation. This is exactly what you want. A little bit too perfect for them, for Fnatic, because they're just winning all of their gunfights. Shawnee set up in such a beautiful position. It's going to be so difficult to deal with. Gets that Scarab, which is so difficult to see, and all of Fnatic clustered together. They're Scarab from Urban picking up so much, stunning all of them. This will definitely stop their push.
Well, going to see how long he can continue. That's going to be, well, the entire team going on a streak. That's 2 threes, make it a 4 now instead, a 2 and a 1. So that is just cruising right along. Red Reserve, they have just dominated this kill feed. And again, didn't even have to use the streaks. Graveyard is normally the prime spot. They can save those, keep them in the back pocket if this game gets a little bit sticky. But Fnatic, they have their work cut out for them. See, the spawns actually flip. And again, the recognition is nearly instantaneous. Red Reserve knows exactly when they need to focus on the flip side of the map. And again, that flip side of the map means that Red Reserve is focused on their rotations. However, Joe in the hill is going to fall.
Yeah, and finally, Fnatic wins a rotation. This is probably the first one they've won all game long, but still a 100-point deficit. And as you said, those streaks are still in play, and here they come down. That's Shawnee's Trinity Rocket, but it seems like nobody's giving up anything for them, so very good job. But Shawnee able to pick up one on Sunny B, Urban another one on Tommy, so they have a 3v2 situation, making it a 3v1 in that hill, and somebody has their work cut out from it. It is Wiskins.
Yeah, you see just how far out that entire team was going to spawn. The streaks get used, gives them the opening that they need, and now they're picking up kills from inside the hill as well. It's one of those things, 30 points left before this game is going to end. They pretty much have to flood down this wall ramp, but they're able to do it successfully.
I don't get it.
Scraps is able to fly in. He's just going to pick up 2, and Red Reserve is kind of just waiting for their teammates to spawn up. And now more streaks are going to get called in as well. It's going to bide some time, and, well, that's actually just going to be a clean 3. Tommy's the last hope for the team.
All dead for Shawnee. Shawnee playing extremely well. And this was a player who, you know, early on, Elevate dropped. He got dropped out of Elevate. They decided to pick up Rated. That didn't work out too well. But Shawnee, all year long, has been such a new talent for sort of rising out of Europe. Has played so consistent, and you can see it here. He's 25 and 14 with a minute 12 in the hill. Just doing a great job. Red now 3 more points to win game number 1.
Yeah, just looking to close this one out. Urban as well. Something I want to touch on is that right there, the EMC. He's been doing that for months now. And obviously, respawn game mode, it's obvious, you know, in Search and Destroy, you have the pistol in the back pocket, you run out of ammo, you can get that clutch kill. But how often does that situation ever really come up in the respawns where the pistol is going to be the weapon that you need instead of having an extra tactical, having an extra nade, having an extra perk? Is it worth it?
Yeah, I mean, when you don't sort of use dexterity, which allows you to sort of reload faster, I think the K-Bar, even the E-Red, has a bit of a slow reload. So, you know, he decides, I'm going to use a pistol. I'm not going to use a nade. And we saw it work out quite often for him. And we saw that weekend, I believe it was E6 who was playing against him. They were pulling out as well.
Yeah, I think Cade actually was the one that mimicked that specifically. But I don't think too many other pros have picked up on it. I don't know if they just don't think it's that valuable, if they prefer other things, if it messes with team strats. But again, just something to keep your eye on. This is a team that's not afraid to mix it up, albeit in a small way. But, I mean, how much can you really mix it up in the game like this?
Yeah, and Red Reserve, obviously you can see right there, 250 to 132 on breakout hardpoint. And just the entire game just started off so well for them. They won all rotations, and that's just what you want to see on breakout. It's such a slow sort of pace map where those rotations and those spawns are so key. But game number 2, Retaliation, Search, and Destroy. And if you're Fnatic, you probably have to win this one because their hardpoint has just not been, you know, doing too stellar for the past, you know, few months.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's too much, like, no hard feelings, no love lost for falling in that game number 1. Again, I spoke about it quite a bit in their last series. Fnatic has not had a good hard point. Same problem in the GPL, so that's not the expectation for them. The expectation is if they win a hard point, that almost guarantees the series for them with the way they play the Search, and their uplink is pretty solid as well. But going into this, it's a situation they've been in before. They'll probably be in it again. Red Reserve, you expect the way they played earlier, they're going to be that respawn dominant team. But that does mean the S&D is an absolute must-win for Fnatic.
Yeah, and Retaliation, Search, and Destroy, one of those maps where I believe Maven and myself were talking about it. It's one where the offensive team wins more of those rounds, you know? A lot more so far this often this year where you really see maps sort of leaning towards that offensive side. I believe the only one that's more like defensive side has been Crusher, which is pretty surprising. I believe it's like 58% win ratio for the defensive team throughout Stage 1, of course. Obviously, those stats could change throughout the year. But, you know, Retaliation, sort of that bike shot bomb. You know, that's what people have really been focusing on, getting those plants and then sort of switching it up. If you're able to get Shreese, plant it towards that bridge.
Yeah, it's kind of nutty as well. Obviously, you want to favor the defensive side, generally speaking. Not like a huge advantage depending on the map. I know my favorite example of this, Riot back in Advanced Warfare, it was like a 90% win ratio for the offensive side. It was ridiculous. But generally speaking, defense is going to be favored. But the bomb, the most recent patch, you don't get bomb plants going towards your payload or diffuses anymore. So the strategy used to always be, I'm going to plant every single round. Whoever has camo is going to plant the bomb every single round first thing. That's like priority number 1. How much of that is going to switch up is going to be an interesting question. We'll see that progress throughout the week because, of course, you pointed out, if you're winning on offense when you get the bomb down, if it works, you don't want to change too much.
Yeah, absolutely. In Retaliation, they did have that spawn change, you know, a few months ago where the defensive was pushed up, so they're able to get that plat control a little bit better. And that's sort of why you see teams go towards that bridge bomb site more. That bike shot bomb site, it's a little bit more difficult to take at times, but it's still pretty favored. It's so hard to defend it from those stairs and that bedroom window.
Yeah, and I'm taking a peek. I don't see any overdrives, but you talk about those spawns switching up. You get that plat control first. I can't remember which player, but on Tainted Minds, use the overdrive on offense to get to plat quicker. So they're even using overdrive. Again, a couple teams trying to work out new scratch just to get early control. I don't think anything panned out. The gunfight was never challenged. But again, players obviously going to be keenly aware of any switches that happen in this game. And, of course, they're going to be looking to take full advantage.
Yeah, so far you're going to have Fnatic starting on offense. We're going to see what they're able to do. And that B bomb site, something we were talking about, just so popular because, you know, you have that line of sight right in that bite shot. But again, what we've seen really from defensive teams is they're able to get 1 and 2 in bite shot. You can easily just cancel out that bomb site.
Yeah, and of course, as we're peeking through the weapons right now, well, the players keep switching a lot, but so far you have two MV4s, a K-Bar and an E-Rad. It's one of those things. If you know you're going towards that A bomb site, feel free. Pull out more MV4s
Right.
if you know those are the gunfights you're going to be taking. Of course, with a bit of a 2-2 split, it's going to be a little bit tougher to read. Speaking of 2-2 splits, Red Reserve on defense, that's exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah, you can see both 5 and 8. I believe that's Raiden and Shawnee. They get in a bike shop, and somebody's already pushed up here. It's Joe. Joe, a very fast E-Rad player. He's pushed up in that corner near bridge. And Fnatic just taking their time. They're trying to work that plat control. Shawnee actually picks up one on scraps. Sunny B, though, trades that out very quickly, and I don't believe they know Raiden's in here. But Joe, there's that flank that we were talking about, picks up one on Ruskin.
Yeah, and you see it looks like Raiders going to be able to pick up one as well. So very quickly, we saw absolutely none of that action, but Tommy's going to find himself in a 1 versus 3. He's going to be able to find that bomb. So I don't know. There's the silver lining in this situation, but again, very tough road ahead. Looks like Red Reserve is going to get a pretty convincing round number 1 from the defensive side.
Yeah, and you can just see how they're playing right now. All 3 of them together, just rotating through that market, just making Tommy's just sort of waste time. If you're Tommy here, you might even decide to just jump off the map. Who knows? You might go for a bomb plant and clutch this out. But Fnatic, you know, for a first offensive round, they didn't really seem to have a clear-cut objective. Maybe just control that platform, but they lost those gunfights. They didn't even go for a bomb plant or anything. So round number 1 going towards Red Reserve.
Yeah, the strategy definitely seemed to be play for information, play for picks, and then go from there. And I think C9 actually did that on this map quite a bit as well. That they kind of turtle up and spawn and just wait to see what the other team does. But the 2-2 split actually worked quite well because you saw Joe had a buddy on the flank and were able to apply that pressure over onto, I believe it was Wuskins. And then as soon as you get first blood, the entire team can kind of make their move. But either way, just 1 round in, nothing too crazy happening now. But of course, Red Reserve, they're going to be having an opportunity to attack.
Crazy thing is here, remember guys, the winner of this will qualify for Stage 2, 4 champs for Anaheim. Pools that start tomorrow, so a lot on the line here on Thursday of Anaheim in Stage 2 qualification. As you can see, Fnatic, they're controlling that bite shop. What does Red Reserve decide to do? They switch it up. They know how much pressure they have on that B bomb site. They're just go ahead and Planet A. And this is what we were talking about, you know, in that pregame. As soon as you sort of see that bite shop, you can just rotate that bomb to bridge. Now you have a 4v4, you know, retake situation for Fnatic.
And so far, you have 3 players for Red Reserve that are just focused on the bomb. Joe's been kind of left by himself around this mid-map area. That means he's going to be able to adjust, is able to spot a player as well. But of course, a lot of action coming down. Joe's going to fall. Scraps is picking up one as well. Sunny B is going to be on a huge flank as well.
Yeah, he went all the way towards the offensive spawn, catches Raid off guard. Now a 2v1 situation for Urban. He does pick up 2. 20 seconds left. He's able to pick up 1. No. A street lamp gets in his way.
And again, just a really good break and retake from essentially that defensive side. Once the bomb gets planted, again, I think the key there was Sunny B. When you say goes all the way around, I mean, he basically was like playing free-for-all, hugging the edge of the map, and then made his moves. But again, as soon as Joe falls in mid-map, once you give up that first blood, especially when Joe was in a spot where there was no hope of a trade coming in, you're going to be in a 4v3, and it's going to be in a tough spot. So bomb gets planted, the retake is successful, and of course, we're going to be tied up 1-1.
Yeah, and just an update from the other game. Supreme is up 3-2 and up 1-0 in the series versus Era. Lacefield 8-3 right now in Retaliation S&D, doing very well. One of those star players. But back into this game, Fnatic again seems to be sort of leaning towards this A bomb site. Red Reserve doing that 2-2 split as we talked about. Joe's going to get into that sneaky corner, and then Shawnee and Rated are going to play bite shot. And again, Fnatic, they just seem to be playing very slow just for information on their offense. They're not going to try and get any bombs down. They're almost waiting for Joe. They know how aggressive he probably likes to play. They're just going to try and sniff him out. And look, 3-hit middle hallway. This is something you don't see every day. But Urban, he sees that, and he's going to communicate with his teammates, and he's just going to get out alive.
Yeah, and now this is just kind of a weird setup. You got Wuskin watching the full flank, but Joe's actually going to be able to get through. Come to behind, too. But he is going to get cut down and traded out. But he did manage to get that first blood. So it's a situation where Wuskin's job is to watch the flank. Did not do it well enough. Wasn't in a good spot. Now, of course, as Urban picks up another kill, Fnatic is just slowly falling apart.
I think at this point, Fnatic's just confusing themselves. They seem to just be trying to do a little bit too much. But Sunny B is able to pick up 1 in a 1v2 situation right now. But Red Reserve up 2-1. All defensive rounds won so far in this game. Something we were talking about in that pregame. But again, it just seems like Fnatic, they're just trying to catch Red Reserve off guard, but Red Reserve just doing a great job of picking up that info and rotating correctly.
Yeah, and it's a situation where when you turn up in your base and play for information, just trying to get picks, it's great. If like one guy is going completely by himself on the flank, but that 2-2 split kind of gives Red Reserve more options. So when you have 2 guys alone at a bomb site, just flood it.
Right.
Take 4 guys and just flood it. But the information that Fnatic has been getting is not good enough probably to even recognize that there's a 2-2 split. So they're going to have to try and figure out these in-game adjustments of what they can do on the offensive rounds. Either way, though, Red Reserve, you see right now, they got a little bit of pressure onto mid-map, but still, it's going to be Joe pushed up most aggressively, and he's only made it to the hallway.
And I love that start of Red Reserve. They knew somebody was going to peek out a bedroom, so Rated and Shawnee, both with NB4s, posted up on the bridge. They tried pre-firing that window, and someone else naded in, trying to get that early first blood. Just something new out of Red Reserve. They knew Tommy was going to peek that, but again, another 2-2 split from the defense. And it looks like the offensive teams are trying to work this middle hallway. We'll see what they're able to do as we're on board with Joe. And this is that aggressive ERAD player. Let's see if they know if there's one in that bite shop. It is Sunny B all by himself, and he's just sort of stuck. And that's bad because Urban picks up one. Sunny, though, able to pick one, but now he's sort of stuck in. Red Reserve knows this, and they have to collapse as soon as possible. Fnatic, his teammates are trying to help him out, but Joe picks up Sunny.
Yeah, and Shawnee's going to pick up a kill as well. It's going to be Wuskins in a 1v3. He's able to pick up the first one, has pressure applied as well. Just 7 bullets left in the clip. He's got 2 players to deal with, and it does appear that that bomb is being planted. It goes down, so Wuskins going to see what he can do. It looks like he's a player trying to be a little bit sneaky, sitting directly underneath of him. And the player on bomb is just going to be looking for information. It seems like they have a pretty good idea where he is, and now they definitely do. Wuskins is going to be able to get out of dodge, but again, time is not on his side.
Yeah, and this is something you don't see very often. Someone just sort of sitting on the bomb and someone under that platform. You know, typically if you're trying to clutch, you have to get that platform control. Red Reserve know that, and they try to set up for it. Red Reserve playing super well so far today. Haven't dropped a map yet so far, and they have an early lead in game number 2.
And it's interesting as well. Yes, it's retaliation. The spawn change for the defensive side allows you to get control of that B bomb site a little bit before. So I think that's part of the reason we don't see as much pressure towards B for those bomb plants. But I think the payload is factored in a little bit as well. The teams, again, every single round on offense has been the same thing. Play and spawn, go for information. Hold that thought, though, on defense. Red Reserve is going to be flying. It's Joe again with the first blood. He's going to get 2 with the ERAD and just catches Fnatic completely off guard. That's what, 3 out of 4 rounds, if not all 4. Joe has managed to get that first blood on point for his team, and there's the round. That is a very quick manhandling on defense.
Yeah, Red Reserve, I mean, they just switch it up. They put the pace on. They know how Fnatic's been playing. They've been playing for that sort of middle hallway. FTL used by Urban in that kill cam picks up the kill on Sunny B. But they're just doing a great job sort of, you know, playing together. We see that sort of 4-man push a lot from teams like Luminosity, from teams like E United. You can just catch that offensive team off guard because they're trying to set up for that platform control.
Yeah, and now you can see Urban and Shawnee, each with 6 kills to their name. Each are just 100 points away. Excuse me, he's 100 points away from the Scarab. Shawnee's the guy to look at, 100 away from the Trinity. So a kill for him would be huge. And yes, we said if you plant the bomb, you can plant the bomb. It doesn't help the payload. It will give you streaks. And it looks like Fnatic has no idea. They have 0 presence over by the bomb site. They just gave up Trinity rockets for free.
Yeah, and now he can use it to win this round, and it looks like he is going to call in a little bit early, as all of Fnatic are going to get inside. I don't know if I agree with that. I would like to see him go back to the graveyard and call it in, but okay. He can see things we obviously can't. He just blows up a car, and Sunny B goes down. Now a 3v2, make that a 2v4. Joe just going ham with the ERAD. He's been playing so well. I mean, we were criticizing him, but he's been playing very well with this new roster. Scraps in a 1v3 situation with 15 seconds left. This should be over. 5-1 to Red Reserve. They're just playing so well.
Did you see the player that got killed by the Trinity rocket at all?
No.
I had no idea. That's like the first time probably in like Call of Duty history.
He did it on Breakout too. He just shot a rocket and someone blew up.
I just don't get it. Like, how did he, like, normally it's Codcaster. We see through people through walls. And that time, I don't know, he just has better game sense than us. That has to be the case, or at least better than me. But either way, Red Reserve, they've mixed up the strats on both offense and defense. They've managed to earn streaks, and they have a very convincing game number 2 on their hands. Of course, they do have to close out. But if they do close out, I just don't think there's any way they lose this series. They've looked fantastic. They manhandled them in the respawns, and they're doing the same thing here in Search and Destroy. So the team right now just looks great.
Yeah, just the decision-making. Everything they're doing is just the right call. They all seem to be on the same page. Wow. Shawnee picks up one, Rated picks up another, but Rated's all by himself. He knows he's stuck in that corner, but picks up a huge one. Now it's a 1v3 for Wuskin, but a 1v2 now as he trades out a kill, but that's it. Red Reserve takes map number 2, 6-1, and Fnatic, this is a team who have been Search and Destroy gods, to be honest, all year long, and they're down 0-2 after losing that game.
So, again, I know it's Thursday. I know it's incredibly in the weekend, but like, how good is Red Reserve really? Because, like, again, the roster change coming to pick him up. They add Rated instead of Nile, but I don't know. They honestly look like they might be a contender, like one of the top 8 teams potentially.
Well, you look at sort of stage 1. Rated played great for Elevate, was probably their best player. Urban was the best player for Red Reserve by far. Shawnee's been consistent. Joe was sort of the big question mark, but he had a great map number 2. You know, online, I talked about it. They won the last 2K in Europe. They've been playing great online in the scrims I've watched, you know, from Rated's point of view. So it just seems like things are clicking. Maybe it's just a honeymoon phase, but we'll have to wait and find out.
I don't know. I just see so much potential. I just can't get over it, honestly, because, again, it's back to the duo as well. We talked about the struggles of Joe, and we honestly should probably stop harping on that at this point because, again, the guy just had a monster performance. But, again, back with that duo of Rated. They got second at COD XP. Best, you know, performance Europe has ever had, and now Europe's in a position where Spice is actually able to win. They got wins on North American soil, so Europe is really making a very strong case, and Red Reserve trying to emerge as one of those top EU teams.
Yeah, as you can see, Red Reserve picking up the first 2 games, and map number 3 is going to be a throwback uplink. You know, can Fnatic start that reverse sweep? We'll have to wait and find out.
Well, definitely the question that's going to be begged. We've seen a couple almost attempted reverse sweeps today, but no one's been successful. And, of course, Fnatic's going to be fiending to try to do that. But we are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, going over to Throwback Uplink.
Oh, well, we're not good. I remember them playing super well on that map, so that could be where they sort of start that reverse sweep. But throwback uplink, you know, a slower map. If Joe's playing like that, you know, with an ERAD, it's going to be very difficult for Fnatic to sort of control that mid-map. But now we are ready for our commercial break. We'll be right back. Game number 3, throwback uplink, right after this. into Stage 2 Qualifier. We're on our 4th match of the day, Fnatic versus Red Reserve. Red Reserve up 2-0, and we're heading to a Game 3 throwback uplink, but so far it's been all Red Reserve.
It's been all Red Reserve so far this entire tournament for them. Again, I think their closest match was within, 100 points on a hard point. And again, it's been sheer dominance every single game mode. The roster change from rated denial seems to be a pretty good one for Red Reserve. Of course, a long way to go. The relegation competition is definitely less than what we're going to be seeing later on this weekend. Once we get a crack of those top 8 teams, we'll get a real showcase of how good Red Reserve is. And of course, their run is not over yet. They still have to close out against Fnatic. They need one more map, and they got potentially more 3 to go. And of course, Fnatic has to pull off the reverse sweep. I don't think they can do it. I don't know, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, Fnatic's a team who have sort of lived or died by search and destroy, and they lost that game number 2. But if you're able to win that uplink, we've said it all year, you typically win game number 4 after winning a game 3, and you push it to that game 5. But it will be very difficult, as Red Reserve has looked so good all day long. Everything just working out well from them. Joe playing extremely well. Shawnee and Urban just not stopping. And, of course, Rated just filling in those lanes with that NV4.
Yeah, and then, of course, on the other, well, not stream, on the other station that we have going on, I'm pretty sure that Supreme is actually up 2-0 against Era as well. So, again, Era looked a little bit weak early on, and their struggles seem to be continuing. And Supreme, of course, is trying to bounce back and get on the board again. If you win 2, you make the GPL. If you lose 2, then, well, I guess we'll just see tomorrow, and you got a chance at that 200 grand.
Yeah, have a good one. Probably be pretty tough, but we're heading into this game number 3. Hopping on board. Who do you want to start with? Oh, you're choosing.
I'm choosing absolutely everybody. We're going to scroll through until somebody gets a kill. I'm just kidding. Going to try and give Fnatic a little bit of love because, again, if the dominance from Red Reserve continues, then we're only going to be showing Red Reserve later on stream. So hopefully Fnatic can get something together. You see Scraps is able to get that first intro kill. He's going to be able to find 2. Tommy's had to do nothing so far, but at least he's going to be grabbing the drone, and he's only going to do that for a second. And then their entire team is going to fall.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea out of Fnatic. They're just trying to play super quick, move that drone, something we've seen from teams like, you know, E6, E United, some of the best uplink teams in the world. They're able to slay while moving that drone, but Red Reserve, they're able to get all of mid-map control. Urban with that pistol picks up 1, Ray another, but Tommy trades it out, and Fnatic able to control their base. But Joe, with that E-Red, he's so sneaky at times, but he's able to get traded out by Sunny B.
Yep, and right now it is Red Reserve trying to put the pressure on Shawnee, going to be in his opponent's base, and that is something that is going to be a constant concern to Fnatic. They really can't do anything on the map until they find this player, and you can see that he has already gotten completely out of dodge, and they are still checking their corners to see if he's behind him. Finally, he shows up, but 3 players are going to fall for Fnatic. Rated's going to be able to get that 4th. Shawnee's pretty much underneath the portal right now. Rated has that drone. They're just trying to get together. Looks like Shawnee is going to fall. Rated's going to have to try and go for that quick 1-point shot. He's actually just going to back up and wait for his teammates. And you can see right now, Joe coming on the flank. Urban's going to be pushing up aggressively as well.
Oh, that's unfortunate. He just got thrown the drone. No, but a great job by Sunny B to get Shawnee out of his base. That kill really stopped the push from Red Reserve. Fnatic trying to get mid-map control, not something they've been able to do all game long. Shawnee at 4-3. The rest of his teammates, everybody at least around that 1.0. And they're moving up again towards that lemon, and that's 3 down for Fnatic. Tommy, the last one left, and this should be points. He's going to go for the dunk. I don't like that decision at all.
Rated going to be able to pick up 2, though. Tommy eventually able to shut him down. So if Rated had gone off, that still would have been points. But as you said, if you have the opportunity to get guaranteed points, if you don't have those cuts already pre-locked, a lot of times it's just a much safer bet to go ahead and hit that 1-point shot. Either way, though, still a lot of Call of Duty to play. Got about 8 minutes left in this game, assuming there is no overtime. Fnatic, though, this was the problem for them when they played on Precinct earlier. They're okay getting that first wave of kills, but they really have trouble getting past mid-map. And it's the same thing here. They clear out their base, they make a nice defensive stand, and then they all die once again, and they have to do it again. And it's one of those situations where something's got to break. You can only make so many clutch plays on defense before finally points get in. And it looks like Urban's trying to be sneaky. He's going to be able to sneak that 1-point shot out. But EU people, can't play basketball.
EU teep?
EU teep? I don't know.
Dude, we got a European teepee on screen. No, but Fnatic again, finally, get that drone out. Now they just have to slay. And I believe that's number 3. Who is that? Sunny B on a huge flank with that E-Red. Does go down to Shawnee, though. That's shut down. Man, just slow down if you're Fnatic. I don't understand why you're trying to move that drone up. You have to get those kills in the middle. Urban picking up 2. And Urban, his movement just so darn good. I remember watching him early in the game when, you know, he was using propulsion before that got restricted, and he was just doing some ridiculous stuff. And this is something different. They're going to try and wrap it all the way around to that right side. no, Fnatic picking up kills, and I don't know if I like this play, but he's keeping it going. Urban and Shawnee pushing it up this right side. I don't know how they're making this work, but they are. All of Red Reserve pushing that field. Now they have a scoring opportunity if they're able to get it through the barn, which it looks like they should be able to.
And
wow.
There you go. So that drone just started all the way from bridge back to the spawn, wrapped it all the way around, went through tunnel, took it through barn, had to pick up some kills, give it to his second player, go all the way through barn. And they did that, essentially getting kills for the most part, 3v4. They're able to slay out Fnatic 2 times. That is magical.
You know, if that was a Telestrator piece, that'd have a ton of arrows on it. A lot. That'd have a lot of arrows. I'd be like, if you go on this one and you went back, that was like a running back running for a touchdown. That was just ridiculous. But Wiskin picking up 2, but again, it's on their side is where he is. Well, actually, he's in blue. Fnatic finally pushing up, but it's on this field side. And let's see if they're finally able to capitalize on a score. These are huge kills. As you can see, Red Reserve spawning right under, you know, that goal. Let's see if he can get a 1-point toss out.
Well, and you see Sunny B is able to pick up 2 in the base as well. So the drone is going to get picked off actually by Shawnee. And it looks like he got the reset as well. So that is a massive play, honestly. There was 2 players coming in from Fnatic, almost guaranteed points. But not only does he pick it off, he's able to throw it off the map in just enough time before he falls. So fantastic plays. And Red Reserve, again, looking pretty confident. The one time they've really had to make that defensive stand, they come up clutch. And, of course, well, the entire rest of the game, they've been on the offensive side.
And those players that are just good at intercepting are just so annoying. We see players on, like, Luminosity, players like United. They make it so difficult to score. But Fnatic finally getting some in-map control as Wushkin's able to pick up 1. Joe takes out Sunny B, and they're trying to move this drone towards this bowling alley. This is a huge kill. I'm not sure who left his teammate. It was Wushkin, just left Tommy alone. And, you know, 2-0 Red Reserve into halftime.
Yeah, I mean, difficult situation at the end there. You got about 5 seconds, and you're basically praying that you're able to sneak by. And that's probably one of the more collective kills I've ever seen. That's 8 different bullets that had to go into Tommy. Of course, I think he had some armor. And, of course, if, you know, the player starts to heal up and you put more, they just kind of tally on and on. But either way, Red Reserve looks pretty good. But, I don't know, all things considered for Fnatic, yes, they don't have any points. But considering they've been on the back foot, this is a much closer game than I would have expected.
Yeah, Tommy, obviously 15-9, playing extremely well with that NV4. He's really been the, sort of that clutch factor where who's stopped all of Red's pushes. They're going super quick. We'll see if Tommy's able to pick up 1. But, no, Joe with an E-Rad picks up 2. And look how quick he is, already in the opponent's base with, I believe that is Shawnee. We'll see if they're able to capitalize as 2 of his teammates are just coming off spawn, ready to take that drone up middle map.
Yeah, and this is a lot of pressure. Shawnee's able to pick up 2 as well. The sneaky Beaver is going to fall for the 3rd, but Joe knows where the rest of the players are. Actually turns at the last second, but wastes enough time to get that drone passed up to Urban, and Urban is going to be able to get 2 more points on the board. So that is a team collective, an entire situation that just got set up to get those 2 points on board.
Well, yeah, I mean, Urban knew that the team was just going to spawn at blue and just rotate back, so they decided to take that up tunnel and completely catch them off guard. Shawnee picks up 2. And they're able to get a dunk. Again, Fnatic stuck in their base, and here comes Joe. Again, so sneaky all game long with this E-Rad. None of Fnatic picking up that flank. Should be able to pick up 2. And again, now the pressure is back in Fnatic's base.
Well, on the bright side for them, Sunny B was mid-map. He's going to lose that gunfight to Shawnee, and now Joe's just in prime position. Shawnee's going to have that drone, but Joe's going to be trying to get those opening cuts. And you see they're going for the wrap once again. So, yes, Joe does fall, but they know exactly the gunfights they need to win. Raid is going to be able to get 2. Urban gets the 3rd, and that drone is going to go in. And, frankly, that could have been a dunk had the shot not counted. But, again, those guaranteed points is definitely the play you want to make. And Red Reserve going to go up 5-0.
And Joe almost reminded me of like Zuma's play style, just like old Zuma, you know, just flanking constantly, and nobody's picking it up on Fnatic, and that's just forcing Fnatic back into their base. You know, rated up top, taken out by Scraps. Finally, Fnatic some have been map control, but again, they let somebody behind them. Urban picks up 1, and he's just stalling time now. Fnatic, they can't do anything until they're together as a team. Tommy's going to try and get this 1-point throw off the top, but Scraps goes down.
Yeah, and he's just not comfortable. You see 2 teammates trying to push up through barn, but he's kind of caught out away for them, trying to go for the 1-point play, and that's an instant interception. He threw that directly into his enemy, and of course, the teammates are there to pick up the kills as well. So Red Reserve, again, on defense, they've been looking fantastic. As many interceptions as you could, well, ever need, because there's only been 2 shots that came in.
Yeah. And just an update from the other game, Supreme up 5-0 at halftime. They're leading the series 2-0. Mox right now is 21-9, playing extremely well, so we're an up-and-coming talent. But back on board with Joe with an E-Rad. I saw your face. I wasn't looking. Did he destroy someone?
Yeah, Joe was cooking, man. He completely turned on someone up on top tickets. So, yeah, Joe's on form, 21-18, leading the team in slaying, something I wasn't expecting to say. But again, very close range engagements. He's been with that ERAD. He's been playing very aggressive. He's got that confident play style, and it's been working so well. And again, that's a 3 sweep right there going in favor of Red Reserve. They're going to be back on the attack once again. And just look at how much farther Joe is pushed up than the rest of his team. He's getting those kills so far in advance that Urban's able to come through. Not going to go for the shot, but just trying to get the kills. Now Joe's got 3 players stacked up in front. Raid is going to get the final 2. And yes, no points get on the board. Weskin's able to pick it up. But that was a 45-second period where Fnatic is just praying that no more points come on board. They clutch up. They got a minute and a half, and it's a 3-possession game. Yeah,
and pretty soon those payloads are coming up, rated very close to camo. You know, that's at least a 1-point throw if they use it effectively. Fnatic trying to push this barn, but Sunny B, Scraps picking up 2, and Scraps tried going middle, just left his teammates, but
he had the overdrive. He was trying to go for the sneaky overdrive play, but again, he got caught down instantly. And yes, they have to make plays. They have to make something happen. But again, you're trying to run away for your teammates there. That's a hope style of playing. And I don't know if you ever play chess, Merc, but you don't want to play hope chess. Things are not going to go your way. You have to make correct plays. And again, Fnatic is one of those situations where, yes, they pick up kills, but now they're just stuck. They just don't know what to do. They don't know how to handle getting that second wave, and that drone has been positioned in field for, again, about 45 seconds now.
I'm going to be honest with you, I've never played chess. I just played Call of Duty.
That's reasonable. If you're making like a couple $100,000, like I would play Call of Duty too, shoot. But I got nothing else to do, so I play chess because it's not going to work out. Either way, though, Red Reserve, 3-possession game. They're up 5 points. You see Rated right now is wasting time. He can waste time with camo, but he's just kept holding on to it.
I think he just got bored, wants to shoot some more virtual characters. Joe popped overdrive, just getting to their base. Again, Rated has camo if they really needed it, which they won't. He could easily get a score. Urban just slamming map, and just look at the scoreboard. Rated 28-20 +8. Joe 26-23. I mean, Fnatic, not a horrible performance. They just weren't able to get out of their base. Again, the constant flanking from players like Joe, just forcing them back into it. You can obviously Fnatic rage quitting, but they're not out of it yet. I believe they will end up playing Supremacy, to qualify for a spot. So, a lot of people are like, the loser of this could potentially play Millennium, where we knock out another European team, but Supremacy upsets them. So if you're Fnatic, you beat Supreme. Now you got to beat Supremacy. We're just beating all the Supremes.
Yeah, you just got to take out all the S's, I guess. I don't know if there's like any top 8 teams with the S in their name, but that's kind of irrelevant. That's just, kind of fake analysis, if you will. But either way, that's going to be the story for Fnatic. If they lose the Search and Destroy, there's really not much hope for them. And not only did they lose the Search and Destroy, they got kind of battered in the respawns as well.
Oh, yeah.
Again, a 5-0 defeat is the closest game they had. And again, no points. They had, like 2 shot attempts that entire time. They tried to make one overdrive play. They had absolutely nothing going for them. But Red Reserve, on the flip side of things, to keep things positive, have looked phenomenal so far this tournament. Again, it's only Thursday, but still.
Absolutely. And looking at the other games, Supreme up 7-0 with 30 seconds left. That should do it. So that means Era is going to be out. So it'll be Supreme versus Tainted Minds in the losers, and you will also have Red Reserve versus Supremacy in the losers to figure out your last 2 teams. But, Cloud9, Red Reserve, they take care of business. Congrats to Red Reserve. Not only do you make it to Stage 2, you make it in the pools for tomorrow. You make it to COD Champs. So that roster move for Rated, he's qualified for Champs in Stage 2 twice.
I did not realize that Champs was on the line as well. This is a ridiculous tournament. They're playing for $200,000 the rest of the weekend. They're playing for a shot at $500,000 throughout the Stage 2 playoffs, and apparently Champs, which I don't know what the prize pool is, but it's going to be $1.5 million. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good. If you're Red Reserve, you're happy. Not only did you win, but that's, what, $2.2 million. Yeah, that's...
You just qualified for.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you can't get all $2.2 million of that. Max, you could probably more than $1 million, right?
That's
what's...
a lot.
Jeez. I'm coming back for the next Call of Duty title.
Why are you coming back? What are you coming back from, Chance?
Dude, you should have seen me on the Wii. I was a god. No, that's not true. Actually, it was true, but the Wii is irrelevant, at least in terms of this event. Either way, though, again, Red Reserve looking great. Cloud9 is going to confirmed as well. I don't know. Actually, this is a question for you. How does it work to decide who gets into pools? Is that like drawn at the end of the day?
Yeah, it'll be drawn at the end of the day, I believe. So we'll figure that all out and let the world know. But I believe that's it. Up next on the stream, we're going to have Tainted Minds in Supreme. 2 teams who are 1-1. The winner qualifies for Stage 2. We'll be back right after this.